Welcome to the Ride This Out podcast, where we talk about how to improve your mental health and strengthen your connection to nature and your community, all through one simple solution: the bicycle. My name is Zach Golding, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker and mental health therapist. I'll be your host as we discuss the power of pedaling. All right, welcome into Tune Up Tuesday. My name is Zach. I'm a mental health therapist, where we're going to talk about quick tips, tools, questions, reflections, ways that we can improve our mental health, kind of tied in with bicycle riding theme. Although I've been a mental health professional for a number of years, this is not a replacement for mental health treatment. In fact, this is, a free resource guide, something to kind of get us thinking about ways that we can improve our own mental health and reflect on different things that are going on. It's also to help promote you to seek your own mental health treatment. And I always say, for best results, ride your bike to the appointment. But on that note, I'm really excited to announce that here in the next couple months, I will be starting up my own private practice. I've been doing community mental health for the majority of my career. I've loved it. I've learned a tremendous amount from working with wonderful people and colleagues and coworkers, and I'm ready for a new challenge and a new pace for me. So I'm really excited about it. So if you're interested, or if you know somebody that's interested in looking into getting into therapy and you live in the state of Utah, that is where I'm licensed to practice. I'll put a link in the show notes here. Also, you can go to my website, ridethisout.com, and I have a tab on there for therapy. You can send me information and I'll get in touch with you. So yeah, I'm really excited, a little bit nervous, but it should be a fun ride. So for today's tune-up, I was riding my bike to work at a local private practice where I've been doing a little bit of stuff on the side, and it's been a really good time getting to know new people and working in that environment. But as I was riding to that office, I was approaching a main highway, and this main highway had a stoplight, and it was stopped, right? It was a red light. And as I was approaching, there was no other cars coming or going. It was pretty early in the morning, and so I just thought, I could just cross right here, no problem. The weather was a little bit icy, it was a little bit cold, a little bit snowy. So, I decided in my mind against that because, who knows if a car would have came around a corner that, didn't see me and slammed on their brakes, the ice, didn't want to risk that. So, but as I'm standing there just waiting for the light to turn green, in my mind, I'm thinking, this is taking forever. What is going on here, right? So again, it kept crossing my mind. I could just cross. But, I ultimately decided against it. And what felt like forever was really maybe, 30 seconds, maybe at the most. And the light turned green and I was able to proceed just fine and be safe. So that got me thinking, we've probably all heard of, well, you probably haven't heard of, but a lot of cyclists out there have heard of a law called the Idaho Stop. The Idaho Stop, why is it called the Idaho Stop? That's a weird term, right? Well, the reason why it's called that is Idaho was the very first state to implement these laws, and it was passed in 1982, right? Way ahead of its time. So way to go, Idaho, right? Pretty awesome. But the essence of the law here is that when you approach a stop sign, you can treat it like a yield sign if you're on a bicycle. So you're going towards the stop sign. There's no other cars coming. You can see that it's safe. You can just proceed. You don't have to stop all the way. You can just roll right through it. If there are cars coming, you got to treat it, of course, like a stop sign. Stop, wait for the other cars to go through, and then you proceed. So that's legal in 12 states. Those states are, of course, Idaho. Then you have Delaware, Arkansas, Oregon, Washington, Utah, North Dakota, Oklahoma, Colorado, Washington, D.C., Minnesota, and Alaska. So in those states, you can just roll through those stop signs as long as it's clear. In 5 of those states, you have the option or the ability to treat a red light as a stop sign. So meaning you stop at the red light and then you can, if it's clear, you can proceed to go through, right? So in those states, it's Idaho, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Colorado, and Alaska. So good thing I didn't treat that red light as a stop sign and just roll through it. I could have gotten a ticket, although, there's probably no police around, but still, it would have been against the law. But the most important thing is just safety, right? And what I've, kind of thought about this whole idea is just patience and just the ability to wait. So, what is the definition of patience? Well, if you look it up, it's just that they call it the ability to wait without getting frustrated or overwhelmed or angry, and you're able to just be in a calm state while you're being patient. We've all heard the term patience is a virtue, right? Meaning it's a trait. It's a good trait to have. It is a positive thing to have. I also like to call it and say patience is a skill, meaning it's a skill that you can develop. Of course, some people have the skill or the trait or the abilities a little more naturally than others. You think of all the different gifts or skills that somebody has in their life, their personality, and you can develop certain skills and certain traits. Sure, it might be a little bit harder than others, but some have those just kind of naturally gifted to them. But because it is a skill, it is something that can be developed over time. So how do we develop that? What are some things that we can do to develop that skill of patience? One of the things that I like to do for my own self and kind of talk with a lot of the people that I work with is, find a small opportunity, something that irritates you, not to the level of 10, the highest level, something that's a little more minor, right? Maybe it's a 1 or a 2, just something that's a little bit irritating, and be able to sit in that moment of irritation, of frustration, and just practice sitting with it, being comfortable with it, and just being there. And as it passes and as it goes through, notice and recognize those thoughts, those feelings that you have, and then just move forward. So, it could be, there's a lot of things that create impatience in our lives, right? Could be impatience with other people, family members, coworkers, could be neighbors, whoever, people randomly that we see at the store, drivers, whatever's going on. There's also things that create impatience. We can have, some major things that happen in our life, right? That can get us frustrated, get us upset. We can also have just daily little irritations, like being stuck in traffic, or something not going your way as far as like, an item being out of the store or whatever else. So, I want you to think about, what are those little irritations? What are those little things that can trigger or cause some of those moments of frustration, of anger, of distress in your life, and be able to sit with it. And as you're sitting with it, just recognize like, hey, I am developing, I am practicing this skill. Sometimes if we're doing something like reading or exercising, we have that positive mindset where we say, this is helping me become better. This is helping me improve in this area of my life. Well, that skill of patience, as you're sitting through those difficult times, just recognize and tell yourself, this is helping me improve my skill of becoming more patient. And, if you think about it, a lot of our personal problems and a lot of society's problems comes from a lack of patience, right? Like if we get impatient with someone around us, we can get really frustrated and it can damage those relationships. So, just practicing that skill of patience. And, a lot of times identifying it, talking it through with somebody can really help identify some of those skills, some of those coping mechanisms that can really help you through it. And then, again, just practicing it over and over again. So that's kind of the whole essence of the name of, me starting this all up, ride this out. Like if you're going through something difficult, you gotta roll with it. You gotta ride with it. And it can be tough at times. But as you're going through that, and as you're working through it, there's no better way to do it, in my mind, in my opinion, than just sitting with it and being comfortable with it, and teaching yourself and telling yourself those things. And so when you're going through that, another great way to help with those situations, jump on that bike, pedal around, and ride this out.